Hello, everyone. Um, I'm actually here to talk to you guys about a pretty heavy, serious concerns that I would like to address. I felt that I can't, in good conscience, go back to making videos about Final Fantasy XIV or streaming Final Fantasy XIV without addressing the elephant in the room. As such, there are two messages today. The first part of the message, or sorry, two parts to the message. The first part is to the WoW community, and the second is for the Final Fantasy XIV community as a whole. So, let's get started. Oh boy. First and foremost, I want to say to the WoW community, welcome to Final Fantasy XIV. I'm honestly really glad you guys are here. I hope you have a good time. This is literally my favorite MMO. Um, it's pretty much my first major MMO that I've played in years. And, I've been looking forward to getting back into it since 2017 when I first touched it. And I'm glad that I can come back and enjoy it in earnest now. Um, so I consider myself to be a sprout, even though I cleared the MSQs. But I enjoy seeing new life being birthed into something I enjoy. It makes it exciting. It makes it fun to know that there are other new people out there that are experiencing something for the first time. And I love it. I love it. I think it's awesome. And I love seeing new faces when I log in. There are literally so many new sprouts. Like, so many new people here. And I am excited. I'm excited. I am very, very excited. And I hope you are too. That being said, I I'm I'm torn and I'm sorry uh, for what your community is going through right now. Um, because I mean, gamer to gamer, uh, what you guys are experiencing is basically the worst thing. It's like the worst possible thing that could happen, that you can experience as a player, as an investor, if you will, of MMOs. And I'm sorry this is happening to you guys. And I know that a lot of you, WoW was a game that you guys been playing for years. There's someone in my FC who's been playing WoW for like 15 years. You guys, you've invested in it, you've made friends, you've built communities, you poured yourself into the game. Your money, your time, effort, energy, your hopes, all of these things, you put it into the game. And for Blizzard to spend years taking you guys for granted, and then on top of that, this crazy ass scandal that's come up after 2 years of, this company that you've supported for years being investigated, and you find all these devastating and disgusting accusations of sexual harassment and assault and shitty work conditions. Like, it's a lot to take in. It's overwhelming, and honestly, I can only imagine how it feels. Um, I, the closest experience I have personally is, K-pop. I'm into K-pop. I've been listening to K-pop for years, many years. And, I've had a lot of bands that I loved and a lot of songs that I enjoy. And, solo artists, everything. And, I spent a lot of money and a lot of time investing in these people and in these groups. And, I've made friends around K-pop. I've, met a lot of interesting people. Um, I've geeked out over it. Like I've invested in something only to find out uh years later that, you know, there were crazy scandals, there were rape cases, there were all these disgusting, horrible things that happened. People who've committed suicide because of the stress of working in the industry and the pressure. And it's a lot and it's painful. It kind of taints the experiences that I've had, taints my memories. It corrupts um, my joy. Songs that I used to love and listen to, I can't listen to them and enjoy them in the same way because, I think about, or it's linked to those awful scandals, the awful, awful things that a lot of the artists that I once supported uh, did. And it makes it difficult for me to not feel responsible. Like, I feel like, damn, my money went to supporting this monster. Or, I feel disgusted. Like, I can't even listen to my favorite song anymore because it feels weird and it's not a very comfortable experience at all. And then you top that off with, the reality that, Blizzard has like this horrible, horrible work ethic, and you guys find that out too. And I've been there, like I've been in a shitty work environment where you had to stress out and worry about, losing your job. Like I've gone through a lot of shit. I never worked for a game company. I worked at in the food industry. And, I had mental breakdowns. I had emotional breakdowns. I still recuperating from that to this day. Like I cannot work. I don't work. I can't. Like I am mentally, emotionally crippled and traumatized from working, that I have a very negative and very real fear and aversion to working for someone and being in that situation where someone could take advantage of me again, or, I get mentally and emotionally abused and no one gives a shit, and they don't actually care about my well-being. They just want my productivity to be high. And it's just it's a very stressful situation. And so I can kind of empathize to a degree what those workers are going through. Um, and for you as a consumer of this company and of their content, to find out that this is what you were supporting all those years, it's it's sad, it's disheartening, it's painful, it's frustrating. I don't mean to assume that that's how you feel, but from my personal experience, if I were a part of your community, that is how I would feel. And that is how I feel, even though I'm not part of your community. Like, I feel angry for you. I feel disgusted for you. I feel devastated. I feel betrayed. And I haven't even played WoW. Like, it's not a healthy situation. It's not a fun situation. And I am truly, truly, truly sorry um, that you guys are going through that. Um, in my personal opinion, I think you guys are just as much victims of this whole thing that's blown up right now. Um, And if you do feel betrayed or if you do want to boycott, I think that's valid. I think that's valid. And, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to feel or what you should or shouldn't do. I'm not a part of your community. I don't feel like I really have a say in that kind of thing. Um, I don't have a part to play in that aspect. However, I also can't say to you guys, hey, welcome to Final Fantasy XIV or whatever other MMO, without also acknowledging, the circumstances that brought some of you here, if not a lot of you, and, prompted a lot of you to start looking in earnest for other MMOs to call home. So, I am very, very sorry. And I do hope that you guys feel welcomed here at Final Fantasy XIV. And also, hope you feel welcomed in whatever other MMOs you guys decide to take refuge in. Okay, now here's the hard part. To the Final Fantasy XIV community. I love you guys. I do. I am amazed by you guys. I think you guys are wonderful as a whole. I think you guys are great. Um, I found, really good friends. I've had very positive experiences here. I've had some negative ones too, but that's true in any and every MMO. There's always good and bad and ugly, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. But overall, I've had a great time. I have a great FC that I absolutely adore. I even have an FC on my alt that I absolutely love, that they allowed me to stay there even though they know it's my alt. And I've had a blast. I've enjoyed failing miserably at role playing with you guys and meeting some of you in game. And it's been a blast. It really has been a blast. However, I have a bone to pick with you. I have a couple of bones to pick with you, actually. And they're kind of similar. They kind of have the same effect, but the winning mentality, this idea of we're winning, that is affecting the Final Fantasy XIV community. It sucks. It sucks. It's toxic behavior. It's elitist. It's disgusting. And kind of similar to that is the mentality of, ew, WoW players are coming here. I don't want their toxicity ruining my game. And yeah, that attitude isn't helpful for anyone. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but I don't give a shit. I really don't, because this is a legitimate problem. It's a very real, serious problem that we need to address, and they're easy to fix. And let's start with the winning mentality. Let's talk about more in depth why I despise it. Um, when we say this is a win for Final Fantasy XIV, it perverts and distorts the seriousness of what the WoW community and Blizzard itself is going through. It also paints a picture that Final Fantasy XIV would not have succeeded unless WoW went down. And that isn't true at all. Like, Final Fantasy XIV is amazing because of Yoshi P and the dev team and everyone else who worked their asses off to rebuild this game from the ground up. And they did it by playing and taking notes from WoW. Final Fantasy XIV was going to succeed whether WoW succeeded or not. While I would rather that WoW also succeeds, unfortunately right now they're in a serious predicament, and this is really an extremely low point for Blizzard and, for WoW and all of the affiliates. Like, it's just not a very fun place right now. But, in the midst of this, I do hope that, they will have a Realm Reborn moment for Blizzard as a company. And what I mean by that is, a death and rebirth experience, right? When Final Fantasy XIV first came out, it sucked shit apparently, and Yoshi P came along and they just torched the whole thing, and they started brand new. They destroyed the world and they rebuilt it, and it became what it is today. And I want that to happen from Blizzard, like from the inside of Blizzard. Like, I want them to get rid of all the toxicity and negativity in their company. And I also want that for WoW itself, like as a game. I want them to just have a Yoshi P coming in moment to torch the shit and build it up and make it better and make it amazing and be successful, right? To, sorry, to paint it another way, let's pretend for a moment that Final Fantasy XIV team and the WoW team are parents of their respective communities, right? So if you are a child of Final Fantasy XIV, i.e., you're part of the community, and you see one of WoW's kids who looks beat up and bruised and shit, and they're all depressed and angry or both or whatever, and you can tell they just aren't treated well at home, and they're bruised, they're bleeding, the whole shebang. What kind of person are you gonna be to them? Are you gonna be that asshole that says, "Damn, so glad my parents aren't like yours"? Or are you gonna be the person that reaches out and talks to them and befriends them, or at the very least, be encouraging and supportive? Like, who do you want to be in this game, in this community? I know this might seem weird to bring it to a personal level, but harassment is a form of abuse, right? And any form of abuse, i.e., harassment, is always going to be personal. It doesn't matter what platform it's happening in. It's always, always personal. When we adhere to the "so glad that's not our game" mentality, it prevents us from truly welcoming people in. Like, it prevents us from being encouraging and welcoming and helpful. Likewise, when we think we're better and it becomes like an us versus them thing, we all lose. Like, I get it. This is just a game, but like, real people are playing it. Like, I'm a real person talking to you right now. And this bunny girl is my character, my avatar. But I'm a real person controlling her, right? So that's the idea. Like, it's important to decide what kind of person you want to be and what kind of effect you want to have. Because a good community doesn't just happen. It's dependent on two things: the atmosphere set by the parents and the way the children interact with each other. No, I was doing quotations you can't see. Our community overall is positive, but it's not perfect, right? We have our own issues in and of ourselves, And like, for us to judge WoW refugees and accuse them of being toxic, that only breeds toxicity in us, and then we begin to poison our communities with that toxicity that we don't want in our game. So, like, we can't change other people, but we could change ourselves. So, who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck if that WoW refugee is being toxic? Are you gonna respond with toxicity in kind? Right? Or are you gonna handle it responsibly? Like, this game honestly makes it super easy and smooth to deal with toxic people in a not very negative manner. Just blacklist them, right? Or you could be, if you're really up for it and you actually care enough, not that it's wrong if you just want to blacklist people, that's not wrong, that's why it's there. But be understanding and seek to understand them. But it's that part's up to you. It's just the thing is, you don't have to be a dick about it. You can find other ways to respond to toxicity, right? But you know, it's just I'm a firm believer that how you behave in game will have a real effect on someone out of game. Because we all come from different walks, different mentalities, different emotional states, right? Like, you don't know what kind of day that person is having. They might be going through the worst possible shit, and your negative comment might be just enough for them to say, you know what, fuck this world, I'm gonna end it all. And then they go commit suicide. And as someone who struggles with suicide, like, I take that shit seriously. And I cannot condone that kind of toxic negative behavior. Um, Now, I'm not saying that, you should be overly kind and generous for no reason, even if you're exhausted or whatever. No, what I'm saying is be aware and be considerate of the fact that you're not the only human being playing this game, right? Like, you're not the only person playing this game. They are real people who have real feelings, who are playing this game same as you. And they deserve to be treated with respect, just like you would want to be treated with respect as well. So who gives a shit where they came from? Just worry about you, right? Worry about you. I'm saying this to my community, right? The Final Fantasy XIV community at large. But I also say it knowing that not everyone is engaging in toxic behavior. I understand that most of you are probably very encouraging, kind people. Um, and we all have bad days, right? But simply put, the overall message is I don't want those negative thoughts and ideas to continue to circulate because it's not healthy and it's not helpful for anybody. It's a double edged sword where we lose no matter which way it swings, and honestly, I'd rather we just didn't pick it up at all. We were lucky as a community. We were truly blessed to have an amazing executive producer and a dev team that is humble and that cares about this game as much as we do, right? They work hard every day to bring us good content. They listen to our concerns. And I honestly believe that our community is great because we have a nurturing relationship that started from the high seat and it trickled down. Whereas for the WoW community, it kind of seems like they might have had like friendships and such, but they had to fight hard to be heard by their team, and they weren't. They've had years of being ignored and taken for granted, and none of that makes us better, right? We're consumers and gamers just like them. We were just blessed with Yoshi P, and I sincerely hope that they have that Yoshi P moment. I really seriously do, because like I've personally always wanted to play WoW. I've always wanted to play it, but I mean, I could never really afford a good gaming computer, and I've pretty much I've become, I should say, a console gamer, because it's cheaper. That's honestly why I'm a console gamer. I've been playing consoles my whole life because it was so much cheaper just to buy a game console and then get a game and play it than to invest hundreds and thousands of dollars into a really, really good gaming computer so I can play all the MMOs and shit that I want. Um, so for me to hear that Blizzard is struggling and they're going through this shit, and that as a result, WoW is suffering tremendously, and they've been suffering for years because of, in my opinion, what's come to light now. Um, to know that this is most likely the reason why WoW is suffering so much was because of the work environment that their people have been enduring for years. And it saddens me and it breaks my heart because I want WoW to succeed, right? I want it to succeed so that one day I can play it and I can play it without feeling disgusted or ashamed of supporting it, right? So, I don't know. I don't know. That's all I wanted to say. Um, I know it's a lot to say, and I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate and a lot of dislikes or whatever, and that's fine. That's fine. You're free to believe what you want and do what you want. I have no control over you, nor do I want to control you, but I wanted to get my thoughts out there. I wanted to get this off of my chest so that I can continue making content that I love and doing things that I enjoy in good conscience without feeling like, I don't know. I felt really strongly that I needed to say something. Um, and this is what I had to say. So thank you guys for listening. Once again, wow, people, thank you so much for checking out Final Fantasy XIV, and I hope you love it as much as I do. Final Fantasy XIV peeps, keep it real. We have a really beautiful community, and we do have our own internal problems that I would love to see us work out, but at the end of the day, we're all people, right? So let's make this community even better. Let's enjoy this fucking game, guys. We pay too much money to be treating people like shit. Okay? We pay too much money to ruin game experiences for others and ourselves. So, let's not do that. Let's not be those people. Anyway, thanks for listening. And if you made it to the end, thank you for making it to the end. I'll see you guys next time. Um, soon. Possibly soon. Bye.